Welcome back to Chillporial on this wonderful Monday night. I am your host, Brian, the Nerdporial life form himself. And well, with me, we have another Wheel of Time expert for his first time on the Chillporial live stream, the Nerdporial channel. We got Domon, High Inquisitor of the Questioners. What's going on? Domon's not a questioner. He's a pirate.
Well, I know. I picked the
He
name.
do be a pirate from
He do
Ilion.
He do be a pirate.
Yeah,
to some extent.
Yar.
Yes. I just picked Doman because I like Doman, and I couldn't think of any other names. I was kind of like, well, shoot.
Yeah, I was surprised how much of it there was a big absence between books. Like last time I saw him, I think was in the Shadow Rising and Tanchico, and then he came back in Winter's Heart in Elodar.
It's a side character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was wondering where that plot line is going to go. I mean, I'm right now. I'm only on the prologue of Crossroads of Twilight, so I'm curious where that whole male idom plot goes with that.
Well,
so
good news, you'll find out.
I hope it's good, because some of the payoffs in Wheel of Time have not been, in my opinion, I just kind of found it underwhelming, but that's just me.
A lot of the payoffs are heavily delayed, because once you finish the series, if you go back and read through it again, which it'll probably go a little bit quicker, I'm
probably not going to do it. I might read the first three,
and
then assume that I'll reread the first three. I love The Great Hunt, love The Eye of the World, and I was enjoying listening to a person reciting one of the great chapters of The Dragon Reborn, the parent chapter with Moraine, and them following Rand's trail, and him being Ta'veren, doing good things. Well, he's not doing good things. He is causing either good things for some villages or towns. He's causing some bad things for other villages and towns. And then of course we meet a girl with a very bold nose, and a certain Aiel in a cage. Which they did adapt in Wheel of Time. So,
yeah, it's a good chapter.
It's a great chapter. It's a great chapter, and that was good. That's my good 30 minutes of discussion. So, yeah, I really love those. I really love those first three books. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I'm trudging through the rest of the series.
I think book number 4, Shadow Rising, is probably everyone's universal favorite, but everyone has their own personal favorites. But I think that one's the most loved by everybody as a whole in the fandom.
I love the Rhuidean stuff. I love the parent stuff. I didn't like the Tanchico stuff and the Aiel. I didn't really like the Aiel stuff until the end with Elkyr Dal and of course the final the final chase with Asmodean.
Yeah, the Tanchican stuff. It's hard at this early stage in the book to like the characters that were in Tanchico outside of like Tom and
I was disappointed with how Tom was used and all that, but that's me.
It was a bit of, he has information about Tanchico because he's been there before. He knows how the political world works. He knows how to basically grease the right palms, get information out of people, and he can help collect information and data.
That's what I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see that from his point of view, personally.
Well, he's a side character. The only time we see something really from his perspective is when he's in Cairhien and when he's at Tyr in the stone. That's really the only two times you actually see from his perspective, and both times it's explaining who he is and like what kind of a character is, because you could write entire books on just Tom himself easily.
Yeah,
like he's a phenomenal character. He's a fun character, and you never see him and be like, man, that was terrible.
Yeah, I wanted to see him. I wanted to see what he did at the after he he avoided an assassination attempt in The Great Hunt. I was actually hoping to see something of that, but then we didn't get anything. And then we get alluded to that he killed the king of Cairhien.
Galdrian.
Yeah, and I was just like, I would have rather seen it. And maybe there was more. Maybe there was something more at work than what actually happened. That's what I was kind of hoping for.
There is, but
what it turned out to be was,
Well, it was part of the mysterious because, believe it or not, the first like 4 times I read through the early series because I had to wait for the books to come out. The first 4 times, I didn't realize he was the one who killed Galdrian. I was like, what? And then I figured it out. I was like, whoa! And it kind of made sense why they didn't show it in detail, because there's not a whole lot of dialogue. He's just going to go there. He's going to kill him, and it's like, okay.
I would have thought there would have been more to it. Maybe there's something we didn't know about. Maybe he was friends with the king. Maybe there was more of a relationship than we knew.
We just know that even with his limp.
Now this is someone who's reading it the first time, so I don't know.
Sure.
Like I haven't read the series, so this was me. This is what I was thinking. Like going forward, like I was expecting something like that.
That part in the story is to exemplify that Tom is dangerous. That's supposed to be the thing. He's a dangerous man. He just doesn't do dangerous things very often because he just wants to, go around and be a Gleeman. That's his goal. When he gets pulled back into Rand's world, now he's looking out for Rand. That's where we see him and Moiraine in the Stone of Tear. He's trying to help the boy by collapsing the Tyrant High Lords on each other. Mm-hmm. So he's planting evidence, he's setting things up and making them basically collapse on each other instead of onto Rand. And in doing so, lets Rand solidify his power. And then you're like, oh man, not only is he dangerous, he's ridiculously smart and he knows how to play politics.
Yeah.
Like we're talking the Game of Houses level, like top tier level stuff. Like arguably he's the best in the entire series at the Game of Houses. Now I would say it's them. They're kind of stupid, so not really no. They don't play it horribly, but they're not the best by any means. I think Tom hands down has it because he's been in virtually every court of every place. He knows people everywhere. He's well traveled. He's dangerous, and he's very well informed.
Yeah, I loved all of this stuff in the Shadow Rising. Like his one-on-one with Moiraine was one of my favorite parts of that part of the book, and that's kind of why I was disappointed in Tanchico, because I was hoping that would pay off better, especially when she's like, go and protect them and all that. I was expecting something crazy.
I mean, it was crazy, but it was focused heavily on Elaine and Nynaeve. But believe it or not, what you think happened and how it closed, it's not how it closed. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of plot points, and very rarely do they stay separate. Like virtually every plot point, every character, and every like string tied to them, like a conspiracy board, like kind of a thing, they're all tied. So if you remove one, it ripples out and it hits a whole bunch of other ones, which ripple out and hit a whole bunch of other ones. So this is why when the show was out, they killed so much of the story that you're like, there's not story there anymore. Like you've cut all these other little pieces off that were essential to the main structure of the story to be there, and instead you collapsed it and you had to completely make stuff up. What's up, Gadfly?
I mean, come on. I mean, I didn't know Perrin had a wife. I mean, Perrin had a wife,
Well, he did, just much later.
Named Layla. And Dane was telling me that Layla's a character in the Shadow Rising. Was one of the people that Perrin thought maybe she would be the one. Maybe she would be maybe she's attractive enough. Maybe she'd be the one. And then
she turned to not be because she kind of let herself go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And he's like, and it's even funny because he's like, man, I dodged a bullet. It's like, what?
Yep. Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah. So I might as well say hello to everybody. We got Mr. William Richards, the White Cloak himself. We got my buddy Dread Roberts, who made this beautiful thumbnail. Thank you so much, buddy. We got Joshua Templeton, and we got the scholarly Gadfly Fiction. So thanks for being here, gents. Hopefully stick around for the next hour as me and High Inquisitor Domon, the questioner himself, is going to change my mind and tell me why I'm wrong about all my preconceptions of Wheel of Time and why my feelings are totally wrong. So there we go. So
that's why it's called the Gotcha.
Yeah, you got your work cut out for you, buddy. So
I do, but I mean, not every book's for everyone. So I mean, I'll do my best.
Yeah. So I figured before, you know, it was a nice little tidbit in the Wheel of Time, but I know you talk a lot about fantasy as well on your channel. And before we go any further in Wheel of Time, I was just curious, like, you know, tell me about your history with fantasy. Or, you know, yeah, tell me about your history with fantasy. Tell me about your history, well, your channel.
Well, for fantasy, I started on where most kids started back in the olden days, was Chronicles of Narnia. So I got all of C.S. Lewis's books.
Bro, I have the worst case of ADHD imaginable growing up. I mean, I still do. I was in special ed. So whenever teachers in school would read to us, which was usually after recess, I would be like, you know, climbing the walls or well, not the walls, in this case, my desk or the floor, because sometimes we sat on the floor and the books were boring. I don't know if it's because, you know, my teachers were you know, the fairer sex. But the one time that I was totally engaged with someone reading to us was I went to Lutheran school, was the pastor. And maybe it's because his way of speaking, and plus he was you know, he was a dude. And he read to us the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And my God, I have never been so immersed in listening to a story being told until then. So I figure so that's why that story, that book has a special place in my heart. Now I haven't read. I still have to read the rest of the Chronicles of Narnia. So yeah.
There's what, 9 books, I think, but they're much shorter.
There's 7.
7. Okay.
And what's funny is the last.
We have the one book of it, so I always forget.
The last book is called. It's not called Tarmageddon. It's called The Last Battle.
I mean, they mean the same thing. Just one's the old speech, but yeah, the old tongue. But no, like I started there. Now, I guess to preface, I have what we would call a film imagination. So what I consume through my eyes of like a book, I can turn into a film in my head. So
interesting.
I basically have a living movie theater in my brain. So when I
got some ideas I want to run by you when you finish your point.
Feel free. So with that being in my head, because I've talked to Pips, and Pips does not have this ability. He cannot imagine things in his head.
No, I can't.
Which to me is wild, because I thought everybody did this, but again, I never thought.
When he told me that too, I didn't know what it was. It's called aphantasia apparently, and some people, I don't know if that includes having what do you call it, an inner monologue. Is that I forget if that includes not having an inner monologue.
I probably have an inner monologue then.
Well, no, you have an inner monologue. I'm talking about, you know, for someone.
Yeah.
So that has aphantasia. I don't know if it's just not being able to picture things. I don't know.
Well, when I asked him, I was asking him to like describe like a red coat in his memory and everything. And I don't know how they do it. They just take the words on the page and that's just what they think. They don't go beyond that. Where me, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I can describe Matt Cawthon where he's wearing he's wearing brown pants, turned down boots. He's got a green coat on with a white undershirt. He's got his flat brimmed cap or hat, I guess. He's got his medallion. He's got his Ashendari. He's got the ruffles and stuff coming out of his thing later on. Like I can describe him because that's what I'm literally seeing him in my head to do that. So when he told me that, I was blown away because I thought everybody could do this. And apparently actually less people do this than I thought. So it's a little weird. But I can relate, Joshua. I also have conversations with characters in my head, not in the multi-personality sense necessarily, but in the sense that I'll take a position where if I was this character, because I love Matt. Matt's the best character in Wheel of Time, hands down.
You know, you might be right. I mean, his character got me. I mean, I liked his character, really got me through. I mean, obviously, Dragon Reborn. I think he had the best arc in that one. But
he didn't have much of an arc in the other ones.
Yeah, I mean that's where he really comes into his own. I mean, with the exception of maybe, I mean, I liked him in Crown of Swords, believe it or not. I like that final. I like that. I actually really enjoyed that final, fight with the Golem. and all that. I thought that was that was a very unusual type of thing. That's something that would be in like a more of a grimdark type of tale. So maybe that's why I liked it. It's very not so Wheel of Time.
So you think that's a closed ending?
What?
The Golem.
What do you mean closed ending?
Well, like how you were mentioning, like you see the plot points where like they end and weren't satisfactory or something.
Oh no, I like that.
I'm saying, do you think
it was a wonderful surprise?
But do you think it's done? Is what I'm asking you.
What do you mean it's done? Well, no, the Golem
Like-
got away. The Golem's going to come back.
Yeah. Okay, so he's not done. Okay.
If the Golem's not dead, he's going to come back. I mean, unless Brandon Sanderson forgets about him, which I don't think Brandon Sanderson will forget that.
He forgot some things, but not that.
I know he does. I've come across a few accidental spoilers, but yeah.
Well, some of the things like Matt's characteristics and stuff, he slightly changes because of how Sanderson portrays him versus how Robert Jordan. It's not like a complete break, but
does that mean Matt's a hero? Because he always bloody says, "I'm not a bloody hero."
Well, which one's louder, actions or words? Actions speak louder
Obviously,
than
words.
Words
are louder because you can hear words. You can't hear actions unless you're.
What if I set off a nuke? Is that louder?
Okay, fine. Yeah, you got a point there. So, yeah.
So actions speak louder than words. So anytime he says that, he's trying to reassure himself. He's not actually stating what's true. That would be what we call an unreliable narrator.
So you're saying he's not a hero?
No, I'm saying he thinks he's not a hero.
No, but are you saying that he acts very unheroic?
I never even
Sanderson
mentioned that. Yes, Gabs. I know if you set off a nuke, the sounds won't matter. I'm just saying it's louder.
The sounds and sights won't matter.
Unless you're far enough away. But yeah, like I got into the Chronicles of Narnia type stuff. And when I was a kid, I didn't have like video game consoles until I was like 10 or 11. So I didn't have access to a whole lot of that stuff. And I basically immersed myself in books. I started out with like, the Hardy Boy books and stuff like that for like the standard reading type stuff. And then I worked my way up into Chronicles of Narnia and really, really liked it. And I found that there's certain genres of books that I can like be drawn to. And when I'm drawn to those books, I want to read them. So by the time, I mean, obviously like right after Chronicles of Narnia was Tolkien and then that was history for that. But by the time I was like, I want to say 13 or 14, I had read pretty much most everything at my local public library that was in the fantasy section. And that's the adult section. Didn't understand half of it because Ellie noticed that.
What drew you to fantasy in the first place? Was it just wandering the library?
I mean the covers back then, they had the art on them. The old style Wheel of Time art was something that's like, oh, that looks kind of interesting.
The Daryl K. Sweet covers,
probably. It's the old school ones that they had on Wheel of Time, and they had them on Ellie Motoset stuff. They had them on a whole bunch of stuff, and half the time they didn't have anything to do with what was actually in the book, but it was interesting enough for me to be like, I want to read that. But then I got to a point where it's like, well, I'm reading so much fantasy, I might as well just read all of it, and I just read all of it.
What about fantasy do you like the most? Is it just the fact that it takes place in an alternate world, types of themes, the historical?
I like
aspect?
history. I finished history or college history in 10th grade because I liked history so much. And I don't know. I think it's because I like the swords and sorcery kind of a thing, as opposed to just like guns. Like if I have the choice of playing Total War, like medieval Total War, Shogun Total War, as opposed to, Napoleon Total War, I'm going to play the other ones because Napoleon's like, oh, we line up and we shoot each other. Woo, fun. But like there's more imagination in the sword and sorcery thing. So it's like, what could you do if you were a person in this universe or in this world? And I like world building as well. But when you have a whole new world, what are your limitations? Well, whatever the world itself states, and then you have
the rules, whatever the rules are that you put forth.
But rules can also be bent depending upon other factors in the universe. Like if you watch anime or read manga or something, when you go to the isekai, there are some universes where the gods can control everything, and others they have very little power. Ironically, and they're gods somehow. I don't understand it, but whatever. So what one might limit you, another one might make it unlimited and like possibilities of whatever you could do or want to do. So I like the idea. I like open world survival sandbox games too. Like I like Skyrim for all the things you can do in that. I like Valheim. I like all the like the classical just do whatever you want. Build.
What about Fallout with its guns?
I played Fallout. I enjoyed it for the RPG element, not necessarily for the open world.
You didn't like you didn't like I've heard New Vegas. I mean, I played New Vegas.
New Vegas is
really
the best,
great.
hands down.
You've got some great world building, got some great lore.
Well, it's got fantastic lore, but it doesn't have the open world survival play.
Oh,
because open world survival is when like you dig a hole, you have dirt, and then you can like go punch a tree or chop a tree down, take the wood, build your own house, kind of a thing, like Minecraft. Minecraft would be open the original open world survival. Others would be open world RPGs like New Vegas, Skyrim, etc. But I like the ability to kind of like be creative with it, and I'm also an overthinker, so from time to time I overthink myself into not doing what I thought I was going to do because I was like, but wait, that won't work. And I use a lot of like philosophy to build that and whatnot. But I enjoy the world building. I've had several concepts I've tried to put into novels, and I always be like, well, actually, I could do this better. And I move to the next one, and I keep moving. And I think I have one that I really, really like. I just gotta tweak it out. But when I got
you're writing, coming up with ideas or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've got at one point I literally had a sci-fi book and a fantasy book both running because I had one about giant mechs, kind of like the BattleTech era, but a totally new universe kind of a thing. And then I had one for fantasy, but I kind of put the fantasy one on hold and started a whole nother fantasy one that I thought was coming together better and faster, and something I liked.
What kind of story do you do with the mechs? Like, is it like Earth based? Is it in space? Is it an Earth sphere?
It's on Earth. Space? It's on Earth, but there was a significant change of an event called the Shift, and the Shift basically it moved kind of where your Arctic locations were on the planet, and in doing so, it took out a large chunk of what we would call populated territories. And one of them was like the north side of America / North America. So Canada is basically pretty much a block of ice at this point, and large chunk, like a swath of the like up even down to like Oklahoma was just mostly winter all the time because everything kind of shifted, but it also just kind of like destroyed the food resource and everything. So they had to come up with other things. But then the United States is not the United States in it. It's broken up. It's been segregated into multiple different places, new alliances, all that kind of stuff. And one of the main characters is a guy who's like, he went to like tech school. He's a genius, and he gets basically land from his grandpa that's up now in this area that's just completely wasteland. But there's some towns up there that do a lot of mining and whatnot. So he goes up there, but then he ends up helping around and creates these mechs to help dig. But he ends up making these mechs that are like massive, like humongous. And
like 20 feet, like a Gundam size mech, bigger. Or something smaller. Oh, like 100 feet, like the Ideon. Or something?
We're thinking like I'm not familiar with the Ideon, but
it's the mech. It's a mecha series that the Gundam creator did after the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and it's a very his thing that he's known for is being very dark and killing off characters quite a bit. This Ideon show was a very ballsy one that he did. It was the worst of the series. I mean, the worst in terms of like.
Never should have written it.
It's a good. No, it's good, but it's like it's the darkest like anime I think I've ever seen in terms of in terms of in terms of 80s mech. Like it's like literally apocalyptic.
Josh is right.
Place in space.
Josh is right. I'm thinking Atlas sized. It's a 100-tonner. They're not. It's not like a 1-to-1. It's not exactly 100 tons. It's not exactly the same height, kind of a thing. But
what is Atlas sized?
I could find a picture for you if you want, but like
Like
a
how,
human
like how big? Like is it like 50 feet or 50 meters?
four to 6 story building.
Okay.
Like these
Okay.
things you can run through a large, like most apartment complexes with these things. Like you
Okay.
can
So
literally just run through it and it'll break everything.
okay.
They're really big, but they're more like tanks. They're not like mechas, because mechas are more flexible and stuff. These are like rigid, and they're like the top, like their upper torso can shift. Oh, 100 stories. That must be the Battletech door.
That's a skyscraper. That's skyscraper size. Eesh.
They're huge. They're huge. But that's one of the biggest ones. That's an assault mech. That's the big ones. The little ones are like light mechs, and light mechs are much smaller. So a light mech's about the size of maybe the shin, maybe the knee of an Atlas.
Okay.
So there are some taller ones, but like if you're looking at like a Locust or something like that are much smaller, like a Piranha, they're very small, but they're fast and they're agile. That's what they're for. They're light. So you got light, medium, heavy, and assault. Assaults are the tanky boys, and Atlas is pretty freaking tanky. So where mechas have like a whole bunch of pockets and things that don't make sense, like how they pull everything out, in BattleTech, you carry the ammo on your actual mech and everything. So you run out of ammo unless it's lasers, but you can overheat your core and blow up and all that kind of stuff. But it's fun. My first PC game.
Are there any like sabers, like beam sabers, like from like Gundam has, right?
No.
Thing
They
like
do have melee weapons. They're like axes. They're just like literal just metal axes, and you can walk up and.
So no like plasma beams or plasma.
They do, but they're not sabers. They're like energy beams, where they just come out of like a actual. They have energy modules that basically let you shoot them. So it generates heat when you shoot them. So you have like heat sinks and all that kind of stuff. It's a very complicated thing. But MechWarrior was the first person / third person version of BattleTech, where BattleTech was the tabletop, but they also made it into a game. But it's a turn based system, like Warhammer might be.
Is Dungeons and Dragons like that too?
Is what?
Is Dungeons and Dragons like that? Turn based?
Yes, Dungeons and Dragons is combat turn based.
Combat turn based.
So
I'm like my like all the stuff I know about Dungeons and Dragons is stuff I learned from playing Final Fantasy. So like all like so.
Have you thought about playing Baldur's Gate 3?
No.
I think you would like it. It's Dungeons and Dragons is what it is. Baldur's Gate is literally Dungeons and Dragons universe, but you meet characters, interactions, but your interactions actually matter. So what you say to people will actually like trigger a whole bunch of things.
Oh,
so
like KOTOR, right?
Yes.
That's KOTOR is where I first played something like that.
Well,
and of course,
I've got both of them right here. So I've got Knights of the Old Republic, and
I see Darth Nihilus right there. There you go.
So. Yeah, I've got that, and I also have my mic's blocking it, but down here I have the SWTOR collector's edition with the Darth Malgus statue and everything.
Yeah, I've never beaten the I've never beaten the dark side version of number 2. I've tried to like because I go to Dantooine first, and you try to take on what's his name, Jedi Master, the old man, I forget his name.
I'm bad with names, so I don't remember that much.
But I tried to like screw him over, have the mercenaries kill everybody, and so then he attacks me, and I try to fight him, and he keeps healing himself, and I never win. And plus, I've tried to replay it on my Xbox over the years, and the game just kept crashing on me. The game kept freezing and crashing on me. So
there's a mod on Steam. If you get it through Steam, there's a mod that does like a lot of quality of life improvements. It prevents those crashes and stuff, but it actually like adds story and stuff to it. Like it's a fantastic mod. So if you're playing it, that's the way that it's recommended.
Does that include the HK factory that I've heard that my friend told me about?
It might. I've not used it myself. I have it on Steam. I just haven't used it.
Yeah, there's an HK factory that was cut out of the original game, and then somebody put it back, or someone put it back.
Yeah, that's probably part of that mod then, because that mod added a whole bunch of content that was cut out of it originally, and they added a whole bunch of little quests and side pieces and stuff. So that's probably that mod. I couldn't remember what it is to the life of me, because I don't memorize mods.
I see some Zelda stuff in your background too.
Yep, I got the
I figure since you said you're a big fan of survival stuff, I'm sure you love Breath of the Wild. That's the one Zelda I didn't really. I played through it, I suffered through it. I'll never play it again.
This is the Master Edition of Breath of the Wild. And then I have, also on this side, right here is the Master Edition, or the largest edition I could find, of Tears of the Kingdom. And then right below Tears of the Kingdom is a little black box. That's the soundtrack. And then I have the soundtrack for Breath of the Wild right here. And then I have the Breath of the Wild book.
The Breath of the Wild soundtrack grew on me over time. Like now I listen to it, and now I listen to it just for like, you know, the ambiance and all that. Especially when I'm at work and I need to like relax. I need to, you know, focus on what I'm doing and everything, and that just helps greatly. But yeah, like the Zelda was my gateway. I mean, I've said this. I'm multiple.
It was my gateway drug.
It was really my gateway into fantasy, and playing Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina was my intro.
On N64 was what got me really interested in fantasy and the hero's journey, because the following year, I was playing it throughout 99. I was 8th grade going into, you know, high school.
I played it in 97 when I was in 7th grade.
90, it wasn't out in 97.
It was? I thought it was released 97.
Nope. Came out.
It
came out in November of 98. So I got it for Christmas that year, and then I was playing throughout 99, and the following year, 2000, between playing that game and my church, I was going to an Orthodox church at the time. The people there, I found out who Tolkien was and The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings from my church. Like I did not see it in my school
church.
They're the ones that told us to read The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and all that. And so I started that following year. My Sunday school teacher, when I was in 8th grade, kept giving us, you know, news about the casting, who was being cast in Lord of the Rings. We found out, you know, Ian McKellen was playing Gandalf, and I think at one point we thought Daniel Day-Lewis was going to play Aragorn. I'm like, who are these? I mean, I knew who Gandalf was because I read a little bit of The Hobbit. I knew who Bilbo was, but I didn't know any of the Lord of the Rings characters. I was like, who is Aragorn, and who's Gimli? So, and then of course, you know. So I'm learning who's in these movies, and I didn't even know who these characters were. So I kind of wanted to remedy that, and so the following year, like, you know, I was at a bookstore. I was out of town. I was family vacation, 15, and I was at a college bookstore. I think it was in Pennsylvania or something. And I saw, and I still have the couple of the books right here. I'll show you. It says right here, it's my Return of the King. It's this one. It's this one right here.
Yes.
It says, and this what we bought. I got this in 2000. It says an epic motion picture trilogy coming soon from New Line Cinema. So between that and my church getting me excited to read this, and then playing Ocarina of Time, I decided to start reading. And let's just say reading Tolkien out of the blue, because I wasn't much of a reader, growing up. I hated reading. I get PTSD from reading comprehension from either from class or from my parents, because of my ADHD. So I didn't read too much, and so I'm reading this, and I don't have a Kindle where I can just highlight a word and get the definition right away. So I'm like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is he talking about? What
does that one have a glossary in the back?
Yeah, this one had, though, there's an appendix because it's Return of the King, but
well, I meant like glossary in terms of like it tells you like, hey, there's this particular name is pronounced this particular way, and here's a little bit of the detail.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Because appendices
not like Wheel of Time,
Yeah. Wheel of Time was very unique in that regard, how well it was done.
I mean, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, but I wish he would have done what Martin did. And Martin put like every name in the back of his book, so like you could find out who this character was and who he was related to, or what family they served. I mean, there are some people in the glossary, but I wish he would have included every name.
Well, I could tell you exactly
Yeah,
what he would say, whether it is nice or not. I can't tell you, but he would say, "Well, hopefully you'd find out by reading the book." So,
no. I have read the book. I just
well, I know, but I'm saying that's why you wouldn't.
when I read it, I want to know who the character is. I'm like,
Yeah,
was this character before? You know, and it's sometimes, you know, Mr. Jordan, Robert Jordan, RJ would say, oh, this character was here when, like, for instance, the character Samitsu in the Crossroads of Twilight prologue. I'm like, who the hell is this again? I don't remember who she was. So and then I'm reading it like, oh, she was there when they brought Rand back to Kyrian from, I forget the woods, the woods where Padden Fane, you know, slashes him with the dagger. And I forget where it was like it was where the rebels were. I don't know if
it wasn't a woods.
Tyron or
It wasn't a woods. It was in the middle of a fog.
but it was in the. I thought it was in the. It was like it was in the woods where all those.
Well, yeah,
they were plotting. They were planning to retake.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
Let me look it up real quick because I know what you're talking about. There's a wooded area, but they were in a clearing of that area.
But yeah, he gets stabbed. Cat Swain and I forget the other dude, the dude that was carrying him or that was, you know, lugging him. They get here. Yeah, she was
not Dylan. Freaking A. He starts with a D. He's the guy who becomes the king of
Darlin. Is it
Darlin? Yeah, Darlin is the one I think is carrying him.
Well, I don't know if it's Darlin. I don't know.
Wasn't it?
I know Darlin was the one that Matt fights in
because he's the one that has a thing for the other lady from Kyrian, and he's doing it for her. So I think it is Darlin. But I can't remember.
Maybe
it's been a hot minute since I've gone back to that. So
but like he does, there are times where the recap does, you know, the recap does help. So I mean, there are times where I've complained about the recap, but there are times where the recap has helped because they're like, who is this character again? Is this a new character, or is this a character that was already previously, you know, established in another book or something? So and even I forget. So
Haddon Merk is the place.
Haddon Merk, is that okay? All right, that's what I thought. So
I think it was supposed to be like a lightly sparsed woods with mostly like swampland.
Yeah, and that's where they were plotting to retake. I think it was
because that whole area between Ilion, Tyr, Murundi, Andor, and Kyrian is not run by anybody, but there is basically the city-state of Far Maddening there. So it's just kind of an abandoned spot that's like, well, there's no reason for us to exert control over this area because it's just like a swamp essentially. So
I know Far Maddening because of book 9, obviously.
It's really the only reference.
So Far Maddening has no like jurisdiction over like the surrounding area.
They control whatever they want to control, but it's mostly the immediate surrounding area of the city.
So basically everything where that ter'angreal, that massive ter'angreal, basically
that's in the middle of the Guardian ter'angreal is in the middle of the city.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea of the ter'angreal in the city because it kind of levels the playing field because of how overpowered Rand is. Like there has to be some semblance of danger to him. So that's kind of why they did. So yeah, I was okay with that.
Well, he liked it because he's also an expert fighter when it comes to physical fighting.
Yeah.
So going to a place where people who are gone insane and can't touch the power gives him an equal advantage.
In the Ashaman, even though I think he required them to learn the sword, but I think the ones that he hunted, because they were already really adept in the one power, they just kind of bypassed it. And I think that worked to his advantage. I think
the specific ones, they got really haughty because they were like, oh, well, you learn the sword, but I'm much better with the one power. And because of that, they kind of shirked their duties towards the sword. And they didn't take it as seriously. Like they got what you call a passing grade, but they weren't like proficient with it. And
wasn't like the sword like the first. Wasn't like this learning the sword like the first priority, and that's what earned you the soldier rank.
It was mixed with the soldier rank because it was kind of like a disciplinary thing.
Yeah.
So you have people learning the sword to learn discipline so that they could learn to channel better and more efficiently.
Okay. All right.
And because where the Aes Sedai are more lax, like a little too much, The Ashaman are very much you're better, gives you a command, you do that command. It's more military focused in that regard. So it's
Okay.
like when Taim goes Ashaman kill, it's a pretty freaking great line. But when he says that, the expectation is you kill, and then they kill, and that's their effectiveness in that regard. Now, if they ever became as vast and as powerful as the Aes Sedai, and with the Black Tower being the counterpoint to the White Tower, then at that point maybe they would keep the discipline, but they would become more, I don't know, relaxed in demeanor rather than just stuffy all the time. And you see that from certain aspects. For some Ashaman, they can crack jokes, they can do whatever, but they're still disciplined. Which is, I mean, you say the same thing from the military today, where you have people go in the military, they get whipped into shape, and then they come out, they're all like really strict. But then some of them are like, I mean, I can still joke, I can still have fun and whatever. It's just certain instances become more intense because they're intense instances. So
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I've been stuck on that prologue for Crossroads of Twilight for like the last like two to 3 weeks. So I'm finally on the Summitsu part. So I listened to a little bit of it ahead of time and realized I was more interested in thinking about work and thinking about the stuff outside. So I turned it off. And when I read it, I find myself more interested in sleeping and relaxing and refreshing my brain over reading more than a few pages at a time. So I'm curious, like it's just a build-up novel, pretty much setting up book 11 and the rest of the series. Because I've heard all the the whole slog thing, and I know everybody thinks there's a slog.
The slog's actually misnamed because the slog was the amount of time we had to wait for the next book to come out, but people have applied it to the book itself, as in like it's hard to read, and it wasn't hard to read because in that it's like Perrin's storyline is a lot of hunting down his wife, who's with the Shido, and along the way, things happen that are important. People just tend to ignore them because they're like, oh, but there's no battle, there's no dueling, there's no swords, there's no magic. And everybody wants action nonstop, which is kind of pointless because if you get action nonstop, you get tired of action because there's nothing going on. But
is there any interesting build up to anything? That's the other thing.
There actually is.
Is there more to the story than just descriptions of buildings, roofs, and dresses?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I mean, for people like me, those descriptions of buildings, dresses, and stuff, that's great because I can visualize it even better in my head. For people like Pips, it might be a bit more of a trudge because he's not compiling all that in his brain and playing.
Oh no, he's told me he loves it. No, I've gotten arguments with him. He loves that stuff.
I'm not saying he doesn't like it or anything. I'm just saying his reaction to it will be different than mine. Okay. We'll both love it equally. It's just we'll have different reasons as to why we love it. I like it because I'd rather have more information than less information. And in some situations, when he's like describing a dress, and then like a book later, they see somebody, but they can't really put it out, but they point out that this person's wearing this dress. And you're like, wait a minute, I remember that dress from like a book ago. And then things start clicking in your head. And it's like, maybe they're a dark friend. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're a spy. Maybe they're not. And there's a lot of questions that build up because of that description. So I'm
still waiting to find out who the Missana is, because Alviarin recognizes, okay, that's what the dress she wears. I got to keep my eye out for that dress.
Well, unfortunately for Alviarin, Missana's not that stupid. So they may be conceited, but they're not stupid most of the time.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But yeah, like there's so many good things about it. But I would say building up through a slog and saying, okay, you have Perrin with Barrelane and the man enters. He's got a couple Aiel, not a whole lot of Aiel. He's got the Ashaman, and then he's got the Prophet of the Dragons stuff also involved in some shape or form. And
we got very little of the Prophet of the Dragon.
Well, his purpose
And he
was
shows up for
a
one
little different.
page at the end of book 8, and he shows up for like one page at the end of Parents Thing in book 9. So now he's going with to hunt some Aiel. So curious
Well,
where that goes.
what's going on with the Prophet of the Dragons is one of those weird things because, like, it's
He's
not like
crazy.
some mind-blowing plot point when you get to the end of it for him specifically, but his existence in that region just causes like
I mean,
a never-ending
he is-
amount of upheaval.
when he was introduced in Fires of Heaven, when Nynaeve has to go in, I forget what city it is. I know it's in Gildon. You know who I was thinking of.
Gianna.
You know who I was thinking of when we meet the Prophet, when we meet Massima.
When Nynaeve meets him, yeah.
I was thinking of, believe it or not, I don't know if you will agree, but I was thinking of Colonel Kurtz.
I'm not familiar with the name.
Apocalypse Now, Marlon Brando.
I'm not ringing any bells, but let me look it up.
You ever seen Apocalypse Now, the 1979 Vietnam movie where Martin Sheen is tasked with basically assassinating a renegade colonel. It's based off of the Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I know who Marlon Brando is from his picture, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It doesn't look like I've seen this one.
It's a wild one. I don't know.
It was technically before my time,
but it's basically about an insane renegade colonel who develops a following, develops like a cult, and
that's kind of what it is.
And and he can get people to do whatever he wants. Now it doesn't go nearly as far as what Massima manages to do. Massima manages to have a whole army. Manages to get a whole army and the queen Alejandra has to ask for his permission to do stuff in the Fires of Heaven. So that kind of, I liked how that established him, because I needed to get away. I was glad they got away from that circus. And
so Massima makes the White Cloaks look normal.
I'm sure.
That's the funny part, because when it comes to zealotry, nobody's more zealous in the entire series than Massima and his crew.
Yeah, and I like how he changes his stance. First, he's like, I will not go in a gateway unless it's by the dragon himself. And then he changes his mind, and at the end of book 9, he's like, we're hunting Aiel. I'm going through that gateway.
He's kind of like, I'll do it for the dragon.
Yeah, I'll sign me up. I want. Yeah, I mean, I remembered back in was it Great Hunt, or maybe even earlier, maybe in Eye of the World, where we first meet Massima and all the other Shinarans and Feldara, and he gives Rand all these dirty looks because of the fact that Rand resembles an Aiel, and the Borderlanders, especially him, they all fought Aiel. I think during the Aiel War. So there's some, and maybe an Aiel killed his buddy, and he has this, he has this prejudice because of that. And
ironically, a lot of the Shinarans, they respect the Aiel, and the Aiel respect them because they think they're good warriors. Like the same way that Lan and the Aiel have a mutual respect for each other.
Yeah,
like Lan's fought the Aiel, but yet he's allowed to walk freely among the Aiel, and they know that he's not just going to blatantly out of nowhere just start cutting them down. They have a mutual honor, respect. They're like, this is for the battlefield. We're not on a battlefield. And then they have that kind of mutual respect. Now, if the Aiel were to invade for whatever reason, Shinar, the Shinarans would fight tooth and nail to keep them out, unless they're there as allies. But that's the kind of the weird part, is that the culture of Shinar and the culture of Aiel would match that, where the South would not have that same type of culture. So like Tyr and Ilion would be like, screw it, we're killing them anyway. They don't have that honor culture that Aiel and the Borderlands tend to hold to.
Yeah, like the Borderlanders, they don't have time for the game of houses and all that political intrigue because they're constantly fighting the border, because they're right by the Blight. And I'm on book 10, and I'm really missing some Shadow Spawn right now. Like I haven't seen a Trolloc since book 5, or well, actually book 6 if you consider the Teleron Riyadh. Where the Aes Sedai accidentally think about Shadow Spawn, and the Shadow Spawn appear and start a fight and start attacking them because they don't know how to use Teleron Riyadh the right way or something.
Oh, the dream bubble, you mean?
I don't know if it was was a bubble. I don't remember. It was just
dreams until they are like bubbles that you enter into, kind of a thing.
Yeah, so they don't know how to properly use their.
Well, they're
thinking about it, and
they believed it was real, and therefore it became real, and that's why like Nynaeve's going, it's not real, it's not real, like yelling at them to not, and then they get out of it. And he's like, you stupid women.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, don't worry. There are still Trollocs. There are plenty of them. They're just, it's the calm before the storm, more or less.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Like, I'm kind of missing the Blight. Like, we only went to the Blight once, and that was in Eye of the World.
We'll be going
to go
back
to the Eye of the World. So
there's more Blight.
Okay,
now, I will say the Borderlands. The Borderlands don't do the game of houses because of what happened to Malkier. I wouldn't say it's because, but that's the same concept as why they don't do it. So Malkier collapsed because people were jealous of other people, and they went to the dark side because of it.
Was Lan's uncle? And
it was the king's cousin, I believe.
The king's cousin,
which would have been Lan's uncle or second cousin.
And then they had then they had a kid, and that kid was Isam, and Isam got taken away, and now he's a duo. He shares a soul or a body with Lord Luke. So Lord Luke lives in the real world, and he lives in the dream world, apparently. So they exist simultaneously.
A little bit more complicated than that, but yeah.
Are you sure? I mean,
yeah, you'll see more of him later on too.
I mean, more complicated. I mean, it's just he's in the real world. Isam's in the dream world, and they kind of coexist. Yeah, but like it's symbiotic relate. It's like
they can both exist in the same plane at the same time. That's why it's more complicated. So think of it like Venom.
Well, like
Venom the symbiote,
like multiple personalities. Like he can just appear.
Yes and no. One, I would say Lord Luke's less focused, but Slayer / Isam has more the overall plan. Like that would be what you would consider the evil side, and Lord Luke's just kind of like the persona that is more. He wants the praise. He like bring me all the praise, kind of a thing. He's a narcissist essentially. The other side just wants to kill Perrin and kill wolves, and he gets the thrill of the hunt, so to speak, off of it. I don't really know how to explain it without potentially spoiling something, but it has to do with where he came from and how he was more or less raised. Without he wasn't really raised, but whose clutches he was in. He just happened to be in the wrong camp.
Do we learn about that, or is that something that's
there's more stuff later on. You'll find some interesting things when they go back to the Blight. They won't go back to the Blight the same way they did for Eye of the North, but they will go back to the Blight. And when you get closer to the end of the last book, the Blight's a big part of a lot of areas, and a lot of potentially terrifying things happen. So it all depends. I mean, I can't.
I'm waiting for since Dragon Reborn, I'm waiting for Rand just to fuck it. I'm going to Shale Ghul. Screw it.
Well, he knows he can't because he read the prophecies.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is he's building up what he needs to get there, and he knows that it could happen at any moment in time. But he's also not in the right state of mind. And the thing is I believe you've gotten to the cleansing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the cleansing has happened, but he's still not in the right state of mind. There is a point where he does get in the right state of mind. That's that point in which things change. And I can't spoil it. I can't spoil it.
I think I know which chapter you're talking about in book 12.
I don't know. I think it's much later. I think it's either book 13 or 14, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah. Have you read New Spring yet?
No.
Okay. Because it was released as like the 11th book and like the sales order wise, release wise. So once you get to like book 11, there's nothing that's going to spoil New Spring for you, but it basically brings up a lot of detail from prior to Eye of the World.
Okay.
So it's basically Moraine and Lan's story.
I was considering reading New Spring, and I think everyone said no, don't read New Spring first. Read
don't read it first.
Start with Eye of the World, and some I think some said you don't even have to read New Spring. Some said read it. It came out after what? It came out after book 10.
Yeah, it was book 11, so to speak. Because there are 15 books. It's one of them. It's the prequel that was released much later, and then like once you read the whole series, starting with Eye of the World, and then like basically after book 10, you can read New Spring, and you don't have to worry about spoilers. But if you were to read through it again, you could read New Spring and then Eye of the World, and it wouldn't bother you any.
Okay.
Because there's aspects in it, like for example, the dragon being reborn is a spoiler in Eye of the World. Like you don't know that stuff. If you were to read New Springs, you'd know that there's a dragon who's being reborn. So it's like you don't want to read one before the other in your first read through, but your second read through, it's more fluid in that. Now, people could argue you don't have to read it at all. I would argue it gives you a lot of valuable information, but I'm also a very pedantic person. I like details, and the details help me understand motivations of other characters and different things bouncing back and forth. So okay. I can understand people who aren't as detailed as I am, or I should say enjoy details as much as I do. They're like, it's not that big of a deal, because ultimately it doesn't necessarily tell you a whole lot of new stuff, but it does explain certain circumstances, like in the Borderlands, and it also explains Moraine's rise into like how she is in Eye of the World.
Does it have the whole, Guitarra Moroso reveal, speaking, speaking stuff about a certain
prophecy,
a certain baby being born on Dragonmount?
Kind of Massacre the TV show's line of thinking, but
yeah.
But yeah, like it's that kind of a thing where it has that information. It also explains basically her search.
Okay.
And how long they search, when she meets Lan, how they met, their demeanors and characteristics of their characters.
Cadsuane's in it?
I don't believe so. Cadsuane has been gone for a long time, because New Springs only takes place 20 years before Eye of the World.
Yeah, because I was curious. If because Cadsuane was introduced in book 7. So I'm curious.
Well, everybody thought she was dead.
So. Yeah. Cadsuane Pliskin. Thought you were dead.
I like Cadsuane, and it irritated me how she worked with Rand and Rand worked with her, because I'm like, Cadsuane, you're being egotistical and narcissist, and you know that's the barrier between you and Rand, and you're just much of a narcissist egoist to freaking just say, I'm going to stop so I can make a good impact on this kid. And it just, she drove me nuts, but I also liked her because she was the most competent of the Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I mean, I liked. I was okay with book 9's ending. I liked how she was. I liked how she actually, was there and helped protect Rand and all that. I thought that was. I actually liked the character more.
Well, she scares everybody.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part. It's like she makes, like, if she walks into a room, she's got the no nonsense attitude, and everyone's terrified of her. Rulers are terrified of her. Normal people are terrified of her. The Aes Sedai are absolutely terrified of her. And if she ever met Elaida, that would have been freaking great, because she would have just been dressing Elaida down so freaking hard. Because it's like, you're destroying us all. But I would like to point out Joshua's thing. You shut your mouth, William. Cadsuane's not that bad. But no, Joshua pointed out that
I was annoyed with her in book 9 when she just came in and just started smacking Rand around. I was like, I would have done something about that.
Rand could have obliterated her without a second thought.
What about those? That doesn't, like, Dane told me those earrings she has like protect her or something. She wears these earrings that allow her to be protected.
I know she has wells on her.
Yeah, that's what those are.
The wells, yeah, the wells just give you access to more power, but her strength is like a third of his. So there's no amount that she could put in that well that's going to be able to make
the strongest Aes Sedai.
Who?
Is she the strongest?
No, I think Nynaeve's considered the strongest with Olivia.
Olivia, that's the Damani. Is that Damani or she?
Former Damani, yeah.
I forget if it's the
on the power scale,
and Damani and Wise Ones, and
on the power scale, Cadsuane's not like crazy powerful, but she's competent. So she knows she's skilled with the one power.
Mm-hmm.
And because she survived, like, she's considered a legend because she's gone in and done things that people didn't think could happen, because she's not like crazy powerful. She's not like Lanfear, Nynaeve, etc., Elaine, and Aviendha powerful, but she's skilled because she's been around for.
I forget. Was it Olivia that was the one that Sindane was terrified of because she's stronger than what I was before I became.
Yeah, Olivia's ridiculously powerful,
like stronger than Lanfear.
But she's not. She's skilled in certain aspects, but she's not skilled. Like, she's skilled at like destruction. That's what she's skilled at. She's not skilled at literally all the other utility type stuff.
Okay.
So she's like used to making people go splatting them. But
is she gonna be on the front lines of a certain upcoming battle?
She will be there.
Find out. We didn't find out. Yeah, I get
it. But I'll give you a teaser. There's more than one front.
I'm sure there is.
So I'm not really spoiling anything, because that's most battles have more than one front. But I wanted to point out something that Josh had said. So he said, "Don't forget, because his sister derogatory calls her and Siuan pillow friends," so that translates to raging lesbians in the show. So I believe it's in New Spring when an Aes Sedai mentions that, because she sees Moiraine and Siuan all the time, and they're always together causing mischief and pranks and stuff, that they're pillow friends. Keep in mind that not once is there any evidence used of this. She's just making this is my viewpoint, I think they're pillow friends kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Never once is there any actual evidence, and not even between Siuan and Moiraine is there any evidence that there was ever any pillow friend type stuff. But also, pillow friends could go anywhere from just comforting each other. In other words, like, hugging each other and saying, it's going to be okay, and getting through like a really bad time, all the way to
like
in that range.
I thought that was what First Sisters do. That's what the show told me. Show told me First Sisters, Aviendha and Elaine. That's what they do.
There are actual lesbians in the books, but there are not that many of them. At least not blatantly. Like, there is I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but one of the Greys has a relationship with Elida. I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but okay, so I'm not gonna spoil that, but they were pillow friends. It's verified by people in the freaking books and the characters that are involved. They were pillow friends, but that doesn't translate over to Moiraine and Siuan, and both Moiraine and Siuan are interested in men, and it's just like, okay, we know that from the.
Are you saying the show lied to me?
No. How could a show ever lie to anyone?
Exactly.
Now, I would also point out to Joshua, Siuan was the third strongest before the girls come on the scene. Yeah, she was really strong in the tower, but out of all power scales, she wasn't that high up, because you had all the Forsaken and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's also like, I don't know, like, they took a lot of things and said, well, it says it. It's kind of like when people go to Lord of the Rings and say, oh, they have black Numenorians. They're black. They're African. It's like, no, black isn't evil. Like, I'm not even joking. That's the actual argument people make.
I thought the orcs were based. I'm not going. Let's not go. I'm not going.
No, the orcs are white. Didn't you watch Rings of Power?
Now they are. But then, what's funny was I was exactly thinking that too. I was like, why are the orcs so pale this time? Oh, I see.
because white people are bad. But wait, the orcs aren't bad. Wait, so white people are bad. That's why the orcs are white.
But I
the
thought orcs had,
aren't bad. I don't
I
know.
thought orcs have families, and they were misunderstood, and they're hungry.
Well,
Like
the ones that did have families were
like
misunderstood. And they got killed.
like Steve put together Trollocs Lives Matter, because Trollocs
I mean,
need love too, and
they
food.
they only race at a child to eat them, but they're like, just kidding at the very last second.
I'll be honest, that part was so creepy. I'm like, why did they put that in the show?
It wasn't even creepy. It was just ridiculous.
It was weird. I was just like, just put the Balsamon thing. I want to see people being forced on their knees. I want to see people, being mind fucked by Balsamon. That one. He's one of your brethren. He's questioner. Guy named Jaichim. Oh wait, no,
Jacob Carradine.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not Jaichim.
Jacob.
Not Jaichim.
Jacob.
That's what the show says is Jaichim, so it must be true.
They got all their accents right.
That's what show Mogedian says.
Mogedian.
That's how some people pronounce. I know it's Mogedian, so at least that's the coordinate glossary. I try to be as close to the glossary as possible. So.
Oh yeah. Also, Josh is like Lanfear can't wear white in the show because how else do people know she's evil?
Lanfear.
And her and Moraine agreeing on anything was just like her and Moraine would be absolutely trying to kill each other as soon as they saw each other.
And then you had, shit like Moraine and her plot they want to scare them out of Tar Valon, so they use a gray man, and the gray man's actually gray, like just like a gray face. Like, what is this? That's a gray man? No way.
Reading comprehension is a very difficult thing.
That doesn't. I mean, when I was reading Dragon Reborn, and whenever a gray man came into it, when gray man would come into a scene, I'd be freaking out if I saw the word ordinary on the page. If someone is described as ordinary, you better get the fuck out of there.
You're like, ah,
yeah,
you're gonna die.
Exactly.
Actually, I got something to show you real quick. So give me 1 second.
All right, so it's just me. So, just like Lanfear can't wear. Yeah. I don't know who's still here. We got a few more minutes. I have to get ready for bed. I know it's already 9 p.m. So this is a good stream so far. I'm really enjoying it.
Mostly because I just talk for forever.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't have to, I just get to sit here and relax and listen.
This is why I don't have friends. But no, I had this cool little thingy that I got because the gentleman who encouraged me to make my channel to begin with, he also kind of funded the channel before he is no longer with us. But he was from Europe and got me connected with this little beautifulness that is.
Ooh, looks nice.
Yeah.
What is it exactly?
Well, it's
the Eye of the World. That's a nice. That's a beautiful cover. That's a beautiful.
It gets better. So you get the classic: the wheel of time turns, ages have come and passed. What was, what will be, and what is may yet fall under the shadow.
Nice. Oh, that's beautiful.
And then the best part, or one of the best parts.
Ooh.
So you got your ravens up in the trees. You got your wolf.
Is that Heron Mark Blade?
It doesn't have any marking specific. Oh no, it actually does have a Heron mark on it. Yeah.
Hey, whenever someone identified the Heron Mark Blade in the first book, the tension, the tone would just change. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's some great art. Look at that.
Yeah. This is the fleeing the two rivers.
Yeah, I mean
so that's right over Steve Barrelon.
The drag car and the flying across the full moon. Yep, yep. I remember that.
It's got green on the outside of the paper and everything, and it's gorgeous. But this is only released in Britain for some random reason.
Is it only the Eye of the World? Do they have ones for
the rest? They did like a special edition of the Eye of the World. Sadly, they didn't have any more, but it was kind of expensive. But he managed to he had a buddy of his that was in Britain at the time, and he managed to get him to pick up one for himself and one for me. And then he had it shipped to me, which took a long time, but it was worth it. So there's some really cool stuff for it, and it's pretty smexy.
Cool. All right, so based on what you've said, I think I have a renewed interest in getting through the not slog of book 10. So,
well,
sometimes it feels like it's years when I read something, but then again, I started reading Wheel of Time 3 years ago. I started with book 1 3 years ago, so I have to finish this. I have to finish this.
I was really hooked on reading when I was a kid because I didn't have much else to do. I was homeschooled, so I didn't have to. I wasn't locked in a school building for a long period of time, so I could kind of just wake up and finish.
I'm a product of the Chicago public school system. Look at me now.
No comment. But no, I used to have problems putting books down, so I got my first access to Wheel of Time. No, that is not the original signed edition, unfortunately. This came out much later. I think it has a signature in it, but it's probably just the standard signature if it has one. I don't think it does have one, though. Yeah, I don't think it does. Well, I mean, it has this in it, but
okay,
it wasn't like him actually signing it himself because he was dead by this time this came out. So, but no, my neighbors were having a garage sale. And I had never heard of Wheel of Time, but I was deep in the throes of Lord of the Rings and Tolkien Legendarium, and I went over to their house, and they had the first 7 soft covers, which I still have up there, which you can't really see.
I can see.
Yeah, the soft covers there.
Yeah,
and they were selling them for $0.25 each.
Ooh,
yeah, they had coffee stains and stuff on them, but I didn't care. And I took them back. I read the snot out of them. I'm pretty sure I read the first book. I think I read in probably a day and a half because I couldn't put it down.
I cannot read that fast.
I am a bit of a speed reader, and it's good to get through a lot of content, but it's not good to pick up on details. So that's why I go back and reread something if I'm interested in it. And I've read this series countless amounts of times because I used to do it. I was like, I can't read them as often as I used to, so I'll try to read them at least once a year through the whole series because it's just good. It's one of the classics, like reading Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and Silmarillion and stuff, or reading Chronicles of Narnia if you're into that when you're older. But on level of like quality books, there's not a whole lot of books that I would say place that close to Tolkien. It's a different style from Tolkien, but it does have some Tolkien-esque type things in it. But I just like I want to read it at least once a year, and I try to go through it, but sometimes life gets in the way, and I can't always guarantee I do it because like I do that once a year, and then once a year I try to at least watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit in one sitting. It's 21 and a half hours. Pizza and wine, baby.
Wine? Okay.
Yeah,
Middle Earth-a-thon. Okay. I was going to ask, like, if you reread the whole Wheel of Time, how long would it take?
That depends on how much time I have free. When I was a kid, I had lots of free time. Now I'm an adult and I have a job and family. So,
yeah.
If I was to sit down and read with any spare time I had, and I didn't do like YouTube stuff and I didn't do any extra projects, I could probably get through it. If I'm reading specifically, I could probably get it in less than 3 days for one book.
For one
that's
book?
That's with working, of course.
Yeah.
If I do audiobook, I can listen to it while I'm at work. So it's slower than my reading speed, but Michael Kramer and Kate Redding do a phenomenal job on the audiobooks.
I agree.
And because at work, I work 10-hour, 13.5-hour shifts. So I can listen to just a quarter of it in one day just off of that aspect because it's I think it's 40 to 60 hours or something for the audiobook for the first book. And I read faster than that, but he's reading in a more of a dramatic. He's slowly putting things together, because if he read the way I talk, it'd be like 20 hours. But I that's what I would do if I'm going on a long trip, or if I'm working and I have nothing else to listen to, and I'm like, you know what, I can whip those out again and just play them or whatever.
Okay. I wish I could read that quick. I for this series, I do sometimes listen ahead, but I prefer to read because I retain stuff better when I read versus listening. So
I'm actually the polar opposite, because when I read, I'm skipping major details because I'm moving so fast. But when I'm listening to audiobook, it forces me to slow down, and then I can consume more details. But it shows how different type of readers everyone is, and we're not all the same.
So with when I read, I can do it in my own pace. Like if I'm in control of what words what words are entering my brain and all that, so I could stop. Whereas I would have to if I miss something, it's gonna keep going until I while I'm, because I only listen when I drive. Usually, I don't usually listen when I used to listen when I walk. Now I haven't really done that. So, I've been preferring listening to music more than listening to audiobooks, to be honest.
I'm trying to find something for you that may.
I'll be honest. I do prefer the Michael Kramer stuff versus the Kate Redding stuff. So
I mean,
when the
parts are literally just when the girl is the main character at the beginning of the story. That's all it is.
Yeah, usually, yeah. So when she tries to do a male character, I just completely disengage right away. But Michael Kramer stuff, like he's like freaking Mel. I consider him the Mel Blanc of audiobook narrators. Like he has so many different voices. Like I swear he's like
phenomenal.
I swear he's like he's 100 different people.
He's got multi-personality disorder. It makes it easier.
Exactly. I mean,
actually,
like his I have one again, Loose Theron, like is one of the I have one like again. I think that was the peak. That was peak for me.
It was great. I got something to share for you that might interest you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So this is something that I had come across. I don't care about this. Go away. There we go. It's a Kickstarter, and it's the Soundscape of Time, a Wheel of Time accompaniment, where it's basically this person, I guess his name's Jordan, makes this thing here, and it's an audio
accompaniment.
So basically, it's music that is supposed to be chapter by chapter for the Wheel of Time. Is the concept. So like this, they have book 1 through 4 is for the single collection.
I've heard fan like music of Wheel of Time, and I'm not a fan, to be honest. So I mean, I don't know how this project is. I mean, I'm more of like I'm more of like a Legend of Zelda type of epic type of theme, or if you're in like you're in a dangerous area, or if you're in some area and you're isolated, then maybe a little more atmospheric.
Well, if you want to try, I have this I can play, kind of just give you an idea what it sounds like, but I don't have to if you don't want. But
yeah, go ahead. I don't know if I have audio on for this, so let me play and see if you could hear something.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the Wheel of Time, but it was a beginning. Born below the ever-cloud-capped peaks that gave the mountains their name, the wind blew east out across the sand hills, once the shore of a great ocean before the breaking of the world. Down it flailed into the two rivers, into the tangled forest called the Westwood, and beat at two men walking with a cart and horse down the rock-strewn track called the Quarry Road. For all that spring should have come a good month since, the wind carried an icy chill as if it would rather bear snow. Gusts plastered Randall Thor's cloak to his back, whipped the earth-colored wool around his legs, then streamed it out behind him. He wished his coat were heavier, or that he had worn an extra shirt. Half the time when he tried to tug the cloak back around him, it caught on the quiver swinging at his hip. Trying to hold the cloak one-handed did not do much good anyway. He had his bow in the other, an arrow nocked and ready to draw.
I'm liking the sound. I'm liking this.
And that's one of those things is like it's supposed, because it goes with the audiobook specifically.
Yeah.
Just let people know. I mean, if you can read at the exact synced pace as the audiobooks, then power to you. But that concept, like syncing up sound and audio to it to where you're hearing some form of music in the background that follows the tempo of what the scene is trying to present to you, and then even additional things like when he mentions a cart and you can hear a cart in the background, he's got a cart rumbling along and you can hear the horse whinnying and stuff. Like adding that life to it is pretty nice. The only problem is it's $40 per book.
Yeah.
So
I actually I like audio books and audio dramas that do that sort of thing. So you know what, I'm you know what, I dig this.
Yeah, and then you can get like three of the first 4 for $100, or you can get all of them for 130, and that's Canadian, so whatever that is.
So they have this for they have this available for every chapter of every book.
Of the first 4, at least. I think he has. I think there's a different Kickstarter for the other stuff.
Okay.
So this one I think is the big one. So if you give them 1,000 Canadian, it gives you all 15 soundscapes when they release.
Oh.
And you get to be an executive producer for all of them as well.
Okay.
But I don't sadly have $1,000. I've not been quite successful like that on YouTube to be able to afford that.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, thanks for sharing that.
I thought I might find that interesting for people who like that kind of stuff.
I liked what I heard. So I might consider that in the future.
Well, maybe you can put the $1,000 down.
I will not.
When you do, just send me the digital files.
All right. Well, High Inquisitor Domon. Thanks for doing this. I figure, it's already it's an hour and a half. I gotta get to bed and all that. So I think I really appreciate this conversation. Really appreciate your time. I think I'm going to try and get through the prologue tonight. I'm gonna before I go to sleep, I'm going to try and get through the prologue of book 10 tonight and try to get through as much of book 10. My goal this year, I was originally supposed to finish the Wheel of Time this year. That was my New Year's resolution, and that's not going to happen now. I fucking failed at that. So my next best thing to do is to finish all of the Robert Jordan stuff. So finish. My goal now is to finish book 11 before the end of the year, and then first half, or then maybe the first quarter of next year, 2026. I'll read the Sanderson books and all that. So
the Sanderson books change a bit, but you'll notice a very different pace. But it's not necessarily bad. But it does pick up a bit after what people consider the slog. Once you get past it, things start moving, because then it becomes like, okay, we've gone up the ride and we're hitting that peak, and then it's about to just go really fast. So, but you will definitely not be disappointed in the last book.
Okay.
But
no, I heard the last book was, a lot of the stuff was written by Robert Jordan, like all the Rand stuff.
Oh yeah.
Written by Robert Jordan.
He originally wrote so much at the ending because he wanted to know where his stopping point was. It's something that George R. R. Martin doesn't know anything about. But
unfortunately, that's true.
In terms of he knew how he wanted to end. It's pretty crazy. It's great. I have the audiobook still sealed right there. But I got it for like $14 at a bookstore, which is great. But it's a wild ride, and there's so much that I can't spoil. It's so hard not to spoil it, because it's like this happens, everything goes nuts. But I have never met a person who was disappointed with how it turned out. There might be a specific instance in the book that like, oh, I wish that hadn't happened, I wish this had happened instead, but their overall feel of the whole book is always overwhelmingly positive. So you have that to look forward, that it has a very good ending. Now, me being myself, and I like really long stuff, like long long stories. I'd rather watch a TV show than a movie, because a movie's like, I have an hour and a half, 2 hours, whoopity doo. But like, that's 2 episodes in a TV show of like however many episodes. But I want them to go a little bit further, but I can't really explain on what, because it will spoil the ending. But when you get there, we could talk, and then I will explain to you all the things that I would love them to continue on. But obviously, he's not here to do it, so it probably won't. But there are things to run with. But no, Joshua, I have not published any books because I don't have time with work at this point. Maybe if I make $1 billion on YouTube, it's not happening, I will have more time to write my book. But I write them in. I'm kind of an outline author, so I'll write like an outline of where I want the story to go for a book, and then I fill in everything in as I go, as the characters unravel it themselves. So
I was going to ask. Last thing.
Sure.
Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug? Don't you have something going on tomorrow?
Yes, I do have something going on tomorrow. Are you going to be there?
I'll probably be sleeping.
Okay. Well, at 7 in the afternoon.
7 p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I have
Wow.
weird. Ever since I went to Japan, I have this weird sleeping schedule. Like I want to hug my bed right now. That's how tired I am.
I stayed up way too long last night, and then I went and donated blood, or like plasma, more or less. And I got back, and I was like, if I don't get home and jump in my bed right now, I'm gonna like just shut down. And I made it in time. I slept for like 5-6 hours, and then I was good to go. But no, Joshua, we probably do have a lot of similar tastes. So, I mean, I guess I'll throw it in the promotion thing. I have a Discord. You can see me there, and we can talk all I want if you'd like to do that. It's in my videos on my channel, so you can find that rather easily.
Are we friends? Are we friends on Discord? I think
don't
we are
know.
friends on Discord.
We might be. I don't.
think so.
I mean, I'm on Prophet's channel. I'm on obviously White Cloak's channel. I'm
Okay.
in a lot of places.
Yeah,
I'm not hard to find. Me.
I mean, I'm part of those groups too. So
Well, you know Matt, the General Matt from White Cloak's group, the guy who runs the whole server. He's the other Matt Cawthon. I go by Matt Cawthon on there, but we go back and we'll have naming wars. Well, he'll be like, I'm Matt Cawthon. I'm like, I'm the better Matt Cawthon. He's like, no, I'm the greatest Matt Cawthon. We'll just go back and forth all the time. And he changes my name on purpose. Yeah, I am a nerd. But yeah, on Discord, I do lots of memes, like crazy amounts of memes, dark humor, dad jokes, that kind of stuff. Just things I think are funny. You can get my live stream schedule there. I should probably put my actual videos down there. I just never do that because I just don't think about it. I've got a download instruction manual for Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth trilogy. If that interests anybody, it's free. So it was a fan project somebody else did. It's not my project. I just promote it because I love those games. And I made it literally so simple a 2-year-old could do it. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, but it's pretty self-explanatory because I circled everything you have to do. Also, I try to do game giveaways from time to time, but people got to participate to get that stuff. So although Grey Pilgrim has gotten quite a few games for me, like a lot of games. I'm on Twitter /X, which is just at the questioners. Or maybe it's at the Watt questioners. I don't remember. It's in my videos as well. Fridays at noon Central Standard Time, I release a video, and on Sundays at noon, I release a video. And then on Tuesdays, I have a live stream 7 p.m. till whenever. Lately, it's been around 1 a.m. in the morning. But it depends on how everything's going. But yeah, right now I'm doing. People in chat wanted me to do a horror game because I was really going to do some Lord of the Rings games, but they're like, "Well, hold off on that and let's do," because it's Halloween type era. I didn't do it right away because I was finishing up the Time Splitters trilogy. But I'm doing a game called True Fear: Forsaken Souls Part 1, 2, and 3. And it's a horror hidden object game, so it's not fast paced, but it's got a lot of jump scares. It's got a lot. I'm
kind of like Resident Evil in a way.
No, Resident Evil would be like you move the character. This is like a click to go into a room kind of a thing. And then you click on this
Oh,
closet, you open the
okay.
door, and then you click on this like cloth to move it to pull like a key underneath it. Like it's an old school like Myst kind of game. So it's a hidden objects kind of click to interact kind of a thing, but it
Mhm.
has cinematics in it that have horror elements and stuff.
I've
to it.
not. I know of Mist. I've never played Mist.
I never played it either, but it's that kind of a game where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
can you find you use the magnifying glass? Can you find
Yeah.
the purple coat over there? And you have to like dig through a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like that, but it's more go to one room, grab this item, go to another room, use that item to get another item that you have to take to another item,
Yeah.
another room. It's that kind of a thing, but it's got a very interesting story. Normally horror stories are very boring, and I fall asleep if I watch a horror film, so I don't watch them because they're boring, they're predictable. And they're not very realistic in terms of how people react. It's drives me nuts. But this particular story has me interested. So I asked in the Discord if they wanted me to keep going. They're like, yeah, keep going. It's like, okay, we'll keep going. So tomorrow is the second stream. So we've beaten part 1. So if you want to see that stream, it's on my YouTube channel and the live streams. So tomorrow we're starting act 1 of part 2. And we'll see how far we can get into that. And it might take 3-4 hours. They're not very long in parts, but there's 3 of them, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing all that. I
Thanks for having me on.
no problem. No problem. I know Friday I have I have a Chilporiel. Gonna have my I haven't talked to him in a while. Matt from Fallball Productions. Them through the Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers crowd and all that. So I can't wait to have him on again. Talk.
Talk shop.
I'm curious. I'm curious. I haven't been paying attention to the culture war stuff, so I'm curious what else has been going on. So talk about that. Maybe some politics. And then after that, well, my one game I'm looking forward to is coming out in a month, and I want to talk about Metroid Prime with another buddy of mine. So
I got that for Switch, the remake of it.
The remaster,
the remaster, and I've been playing through it. I also got the guide, the old guide for GameCube on there, and I've been going through that, and I'm like, it's so much fun. I just don't have as much time. That might be one of the games I play on my thing. Like I ask people if they want to like pick a game, because I have on my Discord lists of games that I have that are like more higher on my interest rate of like variety of things I could do, and then I have another one that's basically like, if I don't have something on that list and you ask if I have it and I don't have it, you can I can put it on another list that says, here's this. So I've got like Metal Gear Solid people want me to play, Final Fantasy 3 of them. I don't remember which one they are. I've got a variety of games people like want to see me play if they're not on my list, and then other people just Great Pilgrim's really hard after the Lord of the Rings games. So we're gonna play some retro old Lord of the Rings games because they're fantastic games. But depending on it, who's on what day, I might change whatever it is, because I want to play games with people as well. So if people in the chat are on like Lord of the Rings Online or Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online, I don't mind playing with them and just having fun that way. But if I'm just doing a regular whatever, I'll just do my own thing usually. And then Pilgrim will vouch for this. If somebody mentions Lord of the Rings, I'll go into this like 40-minute thing of showing everything I have that's Lord of the Rings. and Pilgrim's like, yeah, I've seen it like 7 times. I'm like, yeah, I have a problem. So
all right. So everybody, thanks for being here. Definitely subscribe to the questioners. His link is in the description. It's also in the chat. So follow him. He does regular videos, talks about Lord of the Rings, all things fantasy, nerd stuff. And so everybody, I figure
games, all that,
yep, all that wonderful stuff. So I don't really have an outro, so I will reuse an outro that I did before, Zelda 2 style. So everybody, take care, have a good night, stay safe, stay Nerporeal. Peace.
Walk in the light, my friends.